The cat walks, the snake talks, all the bird flies, the snake lies, hair the snake lies, hair the snake lies, hair the snake lies.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Good Bit Wrestling Podcast here on CM42 TV. I hope everybody is doing well. Here we go, this is your wrestling alternative, your wrestling version of the Good Bit Podcast. Of course, the usual regular Good Bit Podcast where we talk about movies and TV and film and music and life and all that good stuff, all that other boring stuff is available on all podcasting outlets and here on CM42 TV. But this, my friends, this is the wrestling alternative and the wrestling version of the Good Bit Podcast. Welcome. We are exclusive to CM42 TV. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. My name is Chris, of course. I am not only the host of the Good Bit Podcast, but the host of CM42 TV. That's been a bit of a... That's been pretty full on this year. It's been great. We've been doing videos every single day since the summertime, since about July, I think, or June. Been doing videos every single day, and I hope everybody's been enjoying that content. If you're unfamiliar with the other content on CM42 TV, we're mostly doing reaction videos these days, reacting to some music, reacting to some movie trailers, doing some try not to laugh challenges that I'm increasingly becoming bad at. I was alright at the start, but now it's getting more difficult. But that all happens on CM42 TV, but do you know what else happens on CM42 TV? This audio goodness that you listen to right now, the Good Bit Wrestling Podcast. I'll tell you something, see, since doing the Good Bit Podcast in 2016, it's been literally one of my favourite, projects, hobbies that I've ever had, doing, the Good Bit and having a laugh with my friends, talking about movies, which is a massive passion of mine. However, it's not quite the passion I have for the wrestling business. If I could do a set wrestling podcast and call it Good Bits of the Wrestling and have that as a weekly thing, then I would be over the moon. But it's just so difficult these days, it's so difficult trying to meet people's schedules and work around people's work times, and it's crazy. Tonight on recording day, actually, I'm going over to my mate's flat and we're going to record an episode, and that's going to be like the first episode in like a month. And we used to do them like every second week, maybe every week sometimes, 2 in 1 week. It was crazy just because I was in college. I was surrounded by, my podcast pals all the time. And we were able to get dates put together where we could record and talk about certain films and talk about certain film franchises. And we could go to the cinema and not talk about the film until we were in front of the microphone. It was great. But now that, everybody's working and everybody's graduated and everybody's got their own schedule, it's so hard to get things organised. But it's all good. I'm sitting here on my own. I said this was a bad thing. This is my house. But I'm sitting here talking about the wrestling on my own. I'm lonesome. But hopefully I can find someone out there that is in my inner circle who I have instant chemistry with. There are obviously wrestling fans in my life, but it's just trying to match schedules. And I'd love to have a sort of weekly wrestling chat thing. But, I can do it here myself. I'm here in Good Bit Studios talking about the wrestling all by myself. And you know what? Sometimes that's the best way to do it. It sounds a wee bit selfish. I love watching wrestling on my own, right? I know a lot of people love having parties and having viewing parties and all that stuff with the wrestling. And that's fine. I also enjoy doing that sometimes. But to me, the way I look at wrestling, I guess I said I was going to explain all this on an episode of the podcast at some point, but the way I look at wrestling is slightly different to the way I think everybody else listens to wrestling. And that's not in some form of condescending, I know better than you way. It's just I just look at it because I am a performer myself. I do some acting work, I do some voice work. I graduated from acting school, drama school, with a degree. And I guess it's just because I'm in sort of that performance-like industry, I guess I just look at wrestling, I look at the bigger picture. And because I'm so clued up on it, and because I listen to all these insider podcasts and stuff, I just look at it differently. So when it comes to watching wrestling with other people, I'm trying to listen to the commentary, I'm trying to read the crowd, I'm trying to guess what's happening next, I'm trying to watch the stories unfold, I'm trying to hear the theme songs and the soundtrack to the show, and sometimes it's hard to do that when you're surrounded by loads of people. Just like, the reason I prefer going to the cinema to watch movies is because you are, totally isolated. You're with the film you're watching, you're sitting there in a big room with a lot of people, but you are with yourself. You are 100% focused on the screen. That's why I love the cinema. We've talked about that on the Good Bit podcast. So, total tangent, but that's what we do here on the Good Bit. Right, this is the wrestling portion of the podcast for all you wrestling fans of the Good Bit. I appreciate you coming here to CM42 TV exclusively. Let's talk about the season premiere of Monday Night Raw. As I say, I kind of want to do this more regularly, especially now that we're entering this new wrestling boom. And this, wrestling war that's going on, this wrestling rivalry that's just taking over the world, man, when it comes to WWE, getting all this money, doing all the Fox stuff. That's my voice. Listen to my voice. I sound like Kane. I sound like Kane when he needs that, remember Kane back in the Attitude Era when he needed that wee thing to put on his neck? My name is Kane. That was just my voice cracking there. Apologies. Not maybe edit that out, but who cares? It's the wrestling podcast. Enjoy yourselves. Right, so yeah, the season premiere of Monday Night Raw. I'll tell you something. This new wrestling boom that's going on with AEW starting on Wednesday. I just can't wait for Wednesday. Wednesday's going to be so much fun. But what I will say is, I've been looking forward to this week more than anything. It's not just, one particular show, because a lot of people are looking forward to AEW starting, Dynamite starting. By the way, the new intro, they posted the intro on social media. It is incredible, but we'll get into intros very soon. Everybody's talking about Dynamite starting and stuff, and they're all excited for this alternative. We don't need to watch WWE anymore. I love WWE. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm thinking, I need something else, I need something new. I'm more than happy to see something new, but I'm more than happy watching Raw every week. Every single Monday when I sit in front of my TV or Tuesday morning and I watch Raw, and I'm getting ready to watch Raw, and I'm getting ready to fast forward the adverts and watch the intro and see the opening segment again, and listen to the quote-unquote bad commentary, which we'll get to in a second. I am ready for Raw. Just like on Tuesday nights, which is going to be weird now, that there's no SmackDown, but if I was sitting, you're ready for SmackDown, I'm ready for SmackDown. If it was an AEW pay-per-view, I'm ready for AEW. If it's Impact, if it's a pay-per-view on the network, I'm ready for it because it's that time of the week. I'm totally into it. So a lot of people giving, WWE a hard time and stuff. Not me, I'm having such a good time in this time of wrestling, seeing the counter acts and stuff. And I love how folk get so annoyed, like AEW announced something, and then, we're going live on Wednesday nights and stuff, and then WWE turn around and put NXT on there. Like, that should be a good thing. That should be viewed as a good thing. People say, no, they're just trying to, take the steam away from AEW. They're just trying to kill AEW before it even starts. Maybe so, but not in, it's not a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? It's competition. It's you want everybody to do well, not just one company. Or, it's good that these, WWE had this mad facelift this week with the Fox show and the season premiere and NXT live on the USA Network, 2 hours. It's great for the business. It's great for us fans and wrestling fans alike. We are just so lucky right now, so ungrateful at times. We don't know what we have. This time is ridiculous, and that was like pre-AEW, the build up to it, and now Wednesday it's starting, and now it's going to be part of our lives for the next however many years. It could be, a part of our life for the next 30 years, 40 years, for the rest of the time, or it could be a 1-year thing. We don't know, and that's why it's so exciting. It's so exciting. We just have no idea what's happening. We're watching it this week, essentially, premiere week as WWE keep calling it, which just happens to be the premiere of AEW on TNT. Oh God, the UK TV deal drove me nuts. Let me just take a drink of water and I'll tell you how nuts it drove me. Listen to this. The AEW TV deal. This was supposed to be Raw, but we'll talk about this first. The UK AEW TV deal. We were led to believe for the longest time that Dynamite was going to air live on ITV4 every Wednesday night. Apparently the deal was so nearly done. And then ITV was just like, whoa. What do you mean you're taking an ad break here? And Tony Khan's like, I don't know. I mean, this is just where we're going to take the advert. That's not how we take adverts. We take adverts every 15 minutes or so. And then Tony's like, I know, but we're on TNT. There's different adverts. They take them more often on there than you do here. Nah, not doing it. The way it's reading, that's essentially, what it was. You know what I mean? No, I'm not doing it. And Tony's like, well, what do you mean you're not doing it? We've got this deal going, and it's not even that big of a difference. It's just certain ad breaks at certain times. Well, that's not how we do things, so no. you know, that's the AEW side of the story. That's the social media side of the story. I'm sure ITV have their side of the story. But I mean, it's 2019. Can we not get to a feckin' deal? You know what I mean? Like, the ratings apparently in the UK were incredible for All Out, especially. Double or Nothing was good too, but like the buy-ins and stuff. Apparently, the All Out one was even better in the UK. Not as good in America, but it was better in the UK. So I don't know, man. It's I don't know how they couldn't come to a deal. You know, could Tony Khan not, you know, offer some form of deal? Could they offer some form of money? I don't know. Yeah, obviously it's not a money thing. I know it's. I don't want to be that guy. It's like, oh well, he's a billionaire. He can just offer whatever. But a lot of things need to line up. A lot of things need to be in place, and just apparently it just didn't work on both sides, which is a shame because ITV4 every Wednesday night live, just recorded onto your planner. Oh, it just sounds so good. But no, instead we're getting on Fight and we're going to have to pay for it, which is a bit rubbish, but it's better than nothing. It's better than what we were going to get. You know, ITV, it's essentially, ITV are showing it. You know what I mean? It's not like ITV are just cold turkey quitting AEW. It's just not going to be live. They're doing the 2-hour version on Monday nights. I believe that's prime time. Or it's like 10 or something at night, which is still good. And then they're doing the morning show, which is bonkers. Like, they're going to need to edit so much of it and change it. They were going to have to do that anyway to fit the adverts on ITV, but obviously we don't know how much is going to have to be edited. We've not seen Dynamite yet. We've not seen, you know, if there's going to be swearing, if there's going to be blood and all that stuff. I doubt there's going to be, like, ridiculous profanity and violence and stuff, but some things I'm assuming are going to have to be edited, so very, very interesting times indeed. So I'm going to do it and Fight. It's still a good deal, you know. If you were to pay for it, you know, it's still a good deal. $2.99 an episode or $4.99 for the month, which is in dollars. So, by the way, we tip, if you do the Fight app on your phone, it's going to be in the currency where you live. If you do it on your laptop, it'll be dollars no matter where you live. So, for example, if I was to order the Dynamite show on my phone, it would cost me a fiver, pounds. It would be £4.99. But if I do it on my laptop, it's $4.99. Which is about, well, like £3.99. So you're saving like a quid or something. So, and do that for everything. Like if you're buying pay-per-views and stuff, you'll get a few quid off if you buy it on your laptop on like a Google Chrome browser. That's something that I've learned over the past little while. So that's cool. I like, a Fight is good. You know, a Fight is reliable. You know, if it's not going to be right there live every week on your TV, it's kind of the next best thing. We could just get it illegally the next day. But, you know, I'm kind of into supporting, you know, the product. I'm supporting the company and the wrestling business and stuff, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy the $4.99 monthly pass, especially for the first month, and we'll see how it goes, and hopefully, who knows, you know, maybe a couple months down the line, you see how popular it's getting, we'll see how well Full Gear does, the Countdown show, and the reruns and stuff, see how well they do, and who knows, maybe it will end up being live on Wednesdays. That'd be great, but, you know, NXT doesn't air live here, you know, and that's going to hurt NXT, the fact that it's not live, and it's not even live on the network anymore. It's live on USA, which we don't get over here. But a lot of people don't get, you know. They've just announced AEW is going to be in Canada as well on TSN, which I believe is a big deal. I believe that's what WWE Raw was on back in like 2001. TSN. Maybe it still is, but I doubt it'll be in the same channel as WWE. But yeah, so are as AEW. So very exciting times. Let's quickly talk about Raw. That was the whole point of this. I've got a funny throat this morning. Apologies for the coughing. What I will say, I did one of the reaction videos on CM42 TV the other day, reacting to Legendary by Skillet, because I heard a rumour that was going to be the new Raw theme song, so I thought that'd be kind of cool, you know, to react to the song. I've never heard the song before, I'd never seen the music video. Let's react to it, and then we'll see it on Raw, and by God, that's exactly what happened. So I uploaded that on Sunday, I believe, Sunday or Saturday, I believe it was Sunday. And then, you know, I was editing that, and, you know, when you're editing these song reactions and stuff, you know, you start to learn the songs. So now this is a song I know. Then Raw starts, and the new feckin' intro comes on, and let me tell you, I kind of touched on this in that reaction video, but when it comes to me, I love the production side of things, as I say, just because I guess I'm in a performance-like industry. But that sounded very wanky. Apologies. But I am. I've been, you know, behind the scenes, I've been in films, I've been on the stage, and you just look at things differently when you're a performer. I love the production side of especially WWE. As I mentioned, the AEW intro was just posted on social media, and it's like this theme song, it's called Dynamite, and it's like, it sounds different, it's got a kind of kick to it, and then the intro has got all these like mad colours exploding out of the wrestlers' bodies in the most non-weird way possible. You know, so it's crazy. It's like such a cool intro. I love all that, man. I love the theme songs. I love the intros. I love the stages. I love the pyro. Holy God, the pyro's back. It's such an exciting time. I love that as well. You know, it's this season premiere. It's a special episode of Raw. Let's bring the pyro back. It's very cool. So, yeah, very exciting time. The pyro is back. The new intro is there. There's a new theme song. There's a new stage. I guess as well, when I was younger, when I would do like backyard wrestling, and even now, you know, with CM42 TV, making intros and making new logos and having new music for the podcast as well. Having new music, it's always a big deal to me. So you can imagine when that's a big deal and that happens in the biggest deal in my life, which is the wrestling, which is WWE. When that happens, you know, it's a big deal for me. It means a lot, and it's like, that's the stuff I get really excited about. So the new stage is there. It looks amazing, I think. I know a lot of people were kind of iffy on it. It's just an upgrade to what they had. It looks better than what they had. LED board city. It's a mad skateboard ramp, people are saying. Great. There's like a wee door. See when Lesnar came out last night and that the Titantron, the Beast Incarnate thing's there, and he's massive and he just comes out the wee door. It looked incredible. And then he did the wee jig thing, and then the firework with the taunt, or the fireworks with the taunt, like old times. Oh, it's so good to have it back. So anyway, so the intro, so it's Legendary by Skillet, great song. As I was saying, I was learning the song. Then the intro plays, and I'm just like having the best time last night. I'm sitting there in front of my TV. I stood up, obviously, because these things make me stand. If there's like a touchdown in the Super Bowl, or the Super Bowl, or in the red zone, or if there's like a goal in football or whatever, it makes you stand up, just like the intro in the wrestling makes you stand, or a big moment in the wrestling makes you stand up. So I'm standing there in front of my TV last night, 1 a.m. Skillet's playing. There's also like a new rejigged version of the Signature Open, which is cool too, leading into the Skillet intro for Raw. Obviously, this is going to change when the draft happens. I don't know if that was like a wee sort of look into the roster. You know, there was Roman Reigns. I was going to say I didn't remember seeing Roman Reigns, but in the intro. But you know, obviously, when they get the new rosters, they do the draft. I wonder who will end up where and who will need to be in that intro. But the intro plays. Skillet Legendary, great song, kick-ass sort of intro. Leads into the pyro, boom, 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 boom. Then we get this mad weird pre-tape with the commentators. Let's talk about the commentary shake-up. My God, that was weird. Now, obviously, you know, the Raw team with Cole, Graves, and Renee get like the worst rep ever on Twitter, you know, and just get blasted every week. Oh, they don't call them moves, and they don't make any sense, and they say stupid stuff, and Michael Cole just shouts at you all the time. All these things are kind of true, right? However, what I will say is, completely being honest here, not doing this to try to be different or cool or hipster or anything, I always find them really entertaining. See Graves like taking the piss out of Renee. You know, I think it's really funny. Like, who came out the other day? Was it Rusev or someone came out on Raw? And Renee said something like, "Oh, he's looking really handsome." And Graves was like, "Oh, I'm gonna send a text." I just think it's so funny. And then Cole trying to keep the peace. Cole's great at his job. You know what I mean? That I don't care what anybody says. That is not an easy role to have. God bless Vic Joseph. You know, he's got a tough time. It's not as simple as calling the moves. Like Mauro Ranallo in NXT has it best because it's literally it's a in-ring. NXT is an in-ring based product, right? And that's what Mauro's best at. He's best at calling wrestling, and Triple H likes that apparently, and he's great. He's the best commentator in the world, I think. Mauro Ranallo. I could listen to him read the phone book. I watched Bellator the other day just because he was on it. I've never watched Bellator in my life other than the Jack Swagger fight recently. So yeah, it's not an easy job, and I thought Cole, you know, just got the rhythm right. You know, Raw is not calling wrestling moves. You know what I mean? Like, Raw is not calling matches move play by play. You know what I mean? It's like you need to get these certain phrases in and these certain words in. You need to say it in a certain way. You can't lead one thing into another. You need to kind of say one thing that's going to set someone else up. You need to talk about the story throughout the show. You need to concentrate on the stuff that's going on right now. You're getting fed lines in your ear. You need to listen to your other two partners. It's not easy, I can tell you. As if I know, but I'm assuming it's not easy. So, I always found them really entertaining. But I think that's really interesting that like the whole Raw team is just moving to SmackDown. It's not even just like a wee bit of a shake-up. It's like the Raw team over to SmackDown, and apparently that's what Fox wanted. Maybe Fox were thinking the same as me. They're really entertaining, and they kind of know, Cole's the experienced guy, you know what I mean? He knows what he's doing, so that's cool. So then the NXT one isn't changing with Morrow, Nigel, and Beth Phoenix, which is good. And then they announced the Raw team, totally random. Vic Joseph from 205 Live and NXT UK, who's really good, joined by Jerry Lawler, who is of course one of the greatest ever. I love him. And then you have Dio Madden, who has just started, an old NFL player. Brendan Williams, I think his name is. He's been doing a couple of weeks on Main Event, a couple of weeks on 205 Live, and there he is on Raw straight away. He looks the part, he's a massive guy. He seemed nervous, he seemed inexperienced, but you know why that is? Because he was. You know what I mean? Folk are saying, oh, this guy sounds too nervous. Wouldn't you be nervous if this is like your 5th show ever? And you're on Raw, right? With Jerry Lawler, who's going to say whatever he wants. And Vic Joseph, this is his first day on Raw too. Crazy. I mean, that's a tough gig, man. A lot of pressure. So I thought they did a good job for what it was. It's going to. I mean, commentary's hard. It's going to take a long time to get chemistry going. I mean, look at the AEW one. They tried JR, Excalibur, and Alex Marvez. Alex Marvez wasn't that good at it, so they cut him. They replaced him with Alex Mendez, who is Golden Boy, who I think is really good. And although Excalibur is one of the greatest commentators I've ever heard, and Jim Ross is the greatest commentator I've ever heard, it's not, you can't just sit down and instantly become best pals with somebody and know what they're going to say. It takes time. So they did the 4 pay-per-views, and I'll say by All Out was their best performance because it's just, it's working to it. And then as soon as they're going to start doing weekly stuff, and on Wednesdays it's going to be the same. Yeah, I heard Tony Schiavone starting, which is great. I love Tony. Just been binging What Happened When with Conrad and doing the watch-alongs. I was saying this to my mate Fraser the other day. My wrestling knowledge, without sounding egotistical, my wrestling knowledge is really freaking good. I know everything about the business. However, my weak spot is WCW. So now, listening to What Happened When with Tony and Conrad, and we're doing these watch-alongs, it's really helping my WCW knowledge. So that's really good, and I love watching the WWE shows with Tony because he's never seen them before. We watched them. We watched as if I'm with them. Barely Legal, 97. First time Tony ever saw ECW ever. So that was very interesting. But anyway, the commentary team is very interesting. Obviously, it's going to grow. It's going to get better. The chemistry is going to develop. It's not going to happen straight away. I think they did a good job for what it was. And it'll be interesting on Friday with SmackDown to see how Cole and Graves and Renee, as if I'm going to, as if they're going to have a hard time. They're going to be great. They have the chemistry already. But again, it took them a long time to get the sort of flow going, What else happened? I'll just quickly run through the things that actually happened on Raw. We had, of course, the big one being Brock Lesnar attacking Rey Mysterio and Dominic Guerrero. Oh my God, it was great. When Brock comes out, it's a big feel. I don't care what anybody says. I know he's kind of annoying and always wins and, it can be boring sometimes and just shows up for a payday and that. But I'll tell you something, he's a big deal. He's a big draw. Every time he comes out, it feels special. So he comes out, he F5's Ray. The segment was really funny because Ray was kind of talking in Spanish. Like, the matter go to F5. Cut him off straight away. Then he goes and attack Dominic. Oh my God. Dominic, good on you, lad. The bumps Dominic was taking, they looked brutal, they looked sore, they looked... I mean, obviously I've heard he's been training, It's not like just a random thing. But he took this German suplex that looked amazing. Good on you. And then Lesnar went to put him up for the F5 and he kind of slipped. And Lesnar's just so powerful. He's such a monster. Just changes what he was doing and just throws him into the post. Oh, looked painful, but I thought Dominic did a great job. Becky Lynch came out. Great stuff with Becky and Sasha. We had Ziggler and Rude versus Heavy Machinery. The first time I ever sat down and really... Okay, second time. I'm forgetting the Daniel Bryan match from, what was it, Extreme Rules or something? With Heavy Machinery. First time I thought they were really funny and really entertaining. Then we had Miz TV with Ric Flair, and Hulk Hogan. This was the most beautiful Miz TV in ages because it was just your typical Flair car crash segment. It was so funny. Flair obviously had no idea what he was talking about, but it kind of worked because it's Flair. Hogan is great, obviously he's trying to keep up with him and stuff. Miz is great being the host. They've set up the 5-on-5 match for Crown Jewel, which is cool. However, it's like 2 weeks before Survivor Series, or like 3 weeks before Survivor Series, so I don't know how they get the novelty of the traditional Survivor Series match going, unless they do War Games like the NXT are going to do. I don't know. But I like the idea. Team Hogan, Team Flair. Team Hogan is captained by Seth Rollins. Team Flair captained by Randy Orton. They also have King Corbin in there. And Team Hogan is also joined by Rusev. So Rusev went on to challenge Rollins for the Universal Championship in replace for Rey Mysterio, who was catering to Dominic. Do you remember when it was revealed that Eddie Guerrero was Dominic's real father? And then Ray comes back in the ring, and he's like, Dominic, I'm sorry, son. And Dominic just goes, is it true, Dad? Is it really true? And now he's like, that was how many years ago? 14 years ago? He's so grown. He's getting so big. It's crazy. The reason that's so fresh in my mind is not only because it's an iconic moment and I'd quote it since it happened in 2005, but 2005 SummerSlam 05 is roughly where I am in my sort of WWE Network old Raw and SmackDown pay-per-view watch through. That started when the network launched. I started on the day after WrestleMania 17, and every so often I'll just flick through some Raws and watch the pay-per-views and try to, as I said earlier, my knowledge is good, so trying to keep up the knowledge and stuff. So that'll be interesting. Crown Jewel. I know it's the Saudi Arabia shows that are usually they're daft anyway and they don't really mean anything. They're just for the paycheck you get for that. So interesting there. That's going to be good fun. I just wonder what they do for Survivor Series after that. Wonder if they might just do the Raw and SmackDown thing, like they've been doing the past few years, which has kind of been alright. AJ Styles, Cedric Alexander for the US title. They were building up Cedric so well. He got the pin over AJ. He jumped off the old Titantron. Notice how I said the old Titantron. Very exciting. And yeah, AJ beat him again. It's weird because Cedric's been doing really well, and like AJ beat him at the pay-per-view, and he beat him on the Raw before the pay-per-view, and now he's beat him here. I love AJ. He's probably my favourite wrestler in the whole company, along with Reigns, Ricochet, Cesaro, who wrestled last night too, Finn Balor when he's there. That's probably my top 5. Was that 5? I think 4 or 5. So it was interesting that they just beat Cedric again. But I thought Cedric was going to win it. I thought Cedric was going to be the one. This was going to be the day for Cedric to take the title. I thought that would have been interesting for the season premiere, but no, don't be daft. Then Bobby Lashley comes out at the end. He makes his return. I love how it was like a limo showed up, and folk on Twitter, like within 5 minutes of the limo being on screen, folk were like, "Oh, it's CM Punk! It's CM Punk." We'll see. CM Punk could show up on Wednesday. We don't know. And then no, and people were saying it was John Morrison as well. That would have been cool, but of course that's not going to happen because he's not properly signed yet. And then it comes to be Bobby Lashley, but I knew it was going to be Lana. It's in some form because they kept mentioning Rusev's troubles at home. I knew it was going to be Lana, but obviously Lashley was a nice wee surprise. Lashley comes out, and then Lana comes out, and it's a very awkward ending to Raw. Totally random. They kind of did this before with Ziggler. Didn't really work then. I don't know how it's going to work now, but they kissed for like 18 minutes. It was really strange. Rusev literally just stood there looking at them. Then the Fiend came out, mandible claw to Rollins. The show went off the air. That's your build to Hell in a Cell. So interesting show, really fun. These special Raws and special SmackDowns are so. I have the best time watching them. It's crazy. So really enjoyed the show. Love the new look. Love the new Titantron with the sort of skateboard-like ramp. Perfect for Darby Allin. Looking forward to seeing him on Wednesday. And the new theme song's great. I love the. Only thing that's a bit kind of weird now is the commentators, but again that'll grow. That'll obviously. They say Lawler's not permanent, but I'm sure he'll be there until he's needed. I don't know how long Dio Madden will still be there. If Vic Joseph, I don't know what's happening with Tom Phillips. I feel bad for him. He's been nothing but great since he joined SmackDown. Saxton, don't know. He's always been alright, but he can be a bit iffy sometimes. But at least it's not David Otunga, the worst commentator ever. So no offence to David Otunga. Oh. He just wasn't that good at commentating. So that'll all grow, and yeah, massive week for wrestling, biggest week in wrestling maybe ever, or since maybe the 2001, could be probably the biggest week in wrestling. I don't know. One of the biggest in history anyway, with AEW on Wednesday going head to head with NXT. The season premiere of Raw being all epic and fresh and new, and then you got SmackDown on Fox, followed by Hell in a Cell. It's crazy. Crazy time to be a wrestling fan. We are so lucky, as I say, but we are here to enjoy it. We don't want to take it for granted. And I'm going to try and come back later in the week to do some chat about NXT versus AEW. Then I'll try chat about the SmackDown on Fox premiere. And then maybe try and do this weekly where I sit down and chat about some wrestling thoughts every week. But I make these promises on here and I never live up to them, so I apologise for that. But tonight, as I said, I'm going over to do a regular episode of The Good Bit, talking about movies that I've watched recently with some mates. So that will be posted within the next few days on YouTube here on CM42 TV and of course on all podcasting outlets, just like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Pocket Casts, Podbean, and all those other good podcast outlets. So check them. Anchor, there's another one for you. So yeah, please check out all those ones. Social media, The Good Bit is on Twitter and Instagram at The Good Bit Pod, and of course all the back episodes, whether it be video versions or just normal audio versions, are here on the channel CM42 TV, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram personally at CM42 TV. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed Raw, enjoy AEW and NXT on Wednesday night, and enjoy SmackDown Friday. If I don't see you then, until next time, take care of yourselves, and remember, this is the Good Bit Wrestling Podcast. Recognize.